America is a nation of immigrants, but maybe not for much longer. On Monday, the Supreme Court threw out a judge's decision to block the deportation to El Salvador Venezuelans, who the Trump administration alleges are members of the Tren de Aragua gang. International college students aren't faring any better. According to Inside Higher Ed, more than 840 international students and recent graduates at over 160 colleges and universities nationwide have had their legal status changed by the State Department. The colleges and universities are saying that their students have lost their F1 or J1 visas. Meanwhile, Congress has passed the SAVE Act and sent it to the Senate. The new legislation would require documentary proof of U.S. citizenship for anyone registering to vote, a move that experts say would disenfranchise millions of Americans. Joining me now is California Congressman Robert Garcia. He's a member of the House Oversight and Homeland Security Committees. Congressman, it's always so good to see you. Let's start quickly with the SAVE Act. We've been talking about it for months at the show, and now it's, really kind of at the top of everyone's mind. It's allegedly to keep illegal immigrants from voting in elections, but that's just a conspiracy theory that was pushed by Trump after he lost in 2020, because the reality is a Washington Post analysis of the conservative Heritage Foundation's database of voter fraud cases found only 85 cases involving allegations of non-citizen voting over a two-decade period from 2002 to 2023. I mean, look, Congressman, this SAVE Act, it's just the codification of an executive order that Trump has been pushing and that he announced last month. Talk about why this is such a bad idea.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but non-citizens cannot vote in elections and federal elections here in this country. It is illegal. It is already the law. So the SAVE Act is really all about making it more difficult to vote. And the best example out there is for women who get married, who decide to change their name, their last name. The amount of time and paperwork that they're going to have to go through if their name is not aligned with their voter registration, it is going to actually disenfranchise women across this country. So that is the biggest impact, is going to be to women across this country. We're going to make it essentially more difficult for them to vote, on top of adding another burden to more people, the working class people that are running out of work, that get a chance to vote across the country. So this should die in the Senate. It is incredibly, I think, harming to our democracy. This is all about Donald Trump and House Republicans making it more difficult to vote. And everyone should be opposed to the SAVE Act.
And then I want to talk to you about the revocation of these student visas. These are kids that are coming here to get an education. They're coming here on specific visas. By the way, just because Marco Rubio says that your status has changed doesn't make the status change, but it's giving kind of carte blanche to ICE and others to go and round up students for purposes of detention and deportation.
This is personally just incredibly offensive. Before I got to Congress, I taught at the college level for 10 years. I'm an educator. I've had thousands of students, including international students. Just here back home in Long Beach, we've had 6 students at a local university who've had their visas revoked. There are, of course, as you know, hundreds across the country. Many of them, and the ones that we're aware of here locally, have no idea why their visa was revoked. These are students who are here learning. They're contributing to the classroom. And as you know, Katie, international students actually make the learning experience better for all students, for American citizens, for students that are in the classroom learning from each other. That is why we have these international programs. And then some of these students go on to get advanced degrees and contribute back to our best hospitals, our best research institutions in the country. So this is really about Donald Trump. It's about Stephen Miller. It's about Marco Rubio. It's about their worldview that they want America to be closed off from the rest of the world. They want less immigrants here. They want a less free exchange of ideas. They want less people contributing. And quite frankly, they want this to be a more white, non-ethnic country. We got to be honest about what they actually are trying to achieve here in this moment. And again, we should be pushing back on this. These students are here to make our country better. And that's what we should be doing, uplifting them and making the whole college experience for all students a better place.
So I want to switch gears, because there are calls from your colleagues in the Senate to have investigations about what just happened this past week in terms of possible insider trading, market manipulation. And there are just allegations right now that perhaps something has happened. But what's wrong with conducting an investigation? What's wrong with getting to the bottom of how Marjorie Taylor Greene suddenly decided to invest in a stock that she'd never invested in before?
Exactly right. Look, I have questions. I want to know, why did Marjorie Taylor Greene make these investments, make these significant stock investments right before some of these tariff announcements? Who else knew about the decisions that Donald Trump was going to make inside the administration? Marjorie Taylor Greene made some comments. I think they're concerning. I think people should be investigated. And more broadly speaking, the Senate is right. Senate Democrats. We have to know if anybody benefited, if anybody had insider information on stock trades. We should absolutely know. And just as important, individual stocks should not be traded by members of Congress. It should be illegal. The members of Congress should not be trading stocks. I've signed on to legislation that would ban stock trading by Congress members. I do not understand why it's not banned yet. And so we have to not only just have these investigations, people shouldn't be afraid of those. And by the way, anyone, both parties, should be subject to no stock trading in the United States Congress.
Congressman Robert Garcia, I want to take a point of personal privilege to thank you for always being willing to take the time to join me on the show, for always being patient, and for always being so critically active in ensuring that not just your constituents, but that all Americans are informed and that they know what's happening in D.C. and how you guys are fighting for them. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Katie, I just want to just tell you, as you know, I think this is one of the best hours of television to get for folks to get their news. You have a stellar team. You do a stellar job. It's been a great experience. So thanks, Katie, for bringing all the information out to the public.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman. It's good to see you.